With the 2012 presidential election approaching, UC's Department of Political Science promoted the importance of raising youth awareness and voting through hosting debate watch parties in TUC for the second and third presidential debates.
These things, both the campaign and debates, are organic. They change, they modify, they shift, amoeba-like institutions. This is actually, from my perspective, I think this is the single most important presidential debate in history.
The first watch party took place Tuesday, October 16th in Great Hall.
With the rhetoric that I heard Obama talk about today, it was bleak. I heard a lot of what happened, a lot of what I heard in 2008 coming out again. He refused to talk about his last 4 years in office, which is terrible for an incumbent president. He sounded more like the challenger to me than Mitt Romney sounded like the challenger. Mitt Romney sounded like the incumbent, talking about his past achievements, and Obama talked about this, the O that he has as his logo with the horizon and everything that he used in 2008. He's using that O again, sending out this message of a new horizon, hope and change. But Americans don't want hope and change. Americans want jobs.
Mitt Romney has all these great ideas about where he wants America to be, and this is his end game. But what he never told you is how he's going to get there. And the president constantly said, this is how, these are my policies. This is how I'm going to get to the end game. Mitt Romney, he just said, this is where I want to be. I think the American people are really starting to question, well, how are we going to get there? And the question that said, Mitt Romney, how are you different than George Bush? The first thing he did, instead of answering it, he said, I'm going to go and talk about the last question. Because that's a question he doesn't want to answer.
Students gathered once again on Monday, October 22nd in TUC Cinema for the third and final debate.
My quick head count here was 140. And that was just by putting this out this morning by Facebook and Twitter. So again, I think it just shows a great interest in the student body taking it seriously, that we are the key swing voters in this election, and they want to be engaged with the process.
And did anybody hear a principle of intervention that was articulated by either one of them? Like, why do you go and use military force, and when do you not use military force? Do you have any clarity on what drives either one of them on that?
Obama mentioned that he needed community support, so if the friends and allies didn't want to intervene, probably wouldn't, whereas Governor Romney mentioned that if the principles that the United States stand for aren't being upheld, then that's when the U.S. should step in and at least stand up against what's happening. Maybe not militarily, but vocally.
I think, tonight's, I'm going to be interested to see the polling, but I think the students that stayed here, I think, picked up on it perfectly, which was there isn't a lot of space between these guys on fundamentals with regard to foreign policy. So this debate didn't sort of clarify anything on substance. So I'm going to be very interested, and I didn't ask the question about who won the debate, right? Because in a sense this was style points. It seemed to me that President Obama was prepared to go after Romney and attack Romney quite a lot in this debate. It seemed to me that Romney was trying to do what most folks that are not incumbent commanders-in-chiefs try to do, and that is, I'm competent, I know the world, I'm going to give you lots of facts, I'm going to name names, I'm going to name countries, so I passed the competency test. So I think Romney did that fairly effectively. What he didn't do was counter the president when almost every time the president sort of called him out, even though the substance wasn't that different. So I thought that was an interesting dynamic, and it'll be interesting to see how the polls sort of play this out.
President Barack Obama clearly won the debate. It wasn't even close. It was just out of any proportion. The president won this debate. And the funny thing is he really didn't bring up the issue of why he won. He brought up his opponent's values, and that's why he won. He brought up the fact that Mitt Romney just continues to be wishy-washy on everything, and he'll say one thing and then he'll say the next thing, and that's not what we need for our foreign security. That's not what we need to have a great economy. That's not what's going to keep us safe here as Americans. And it's unfortunate that Mitt Romney is so wishy-washy on everything, because what we're hearing now isn't what we've been hearing on the campaign trail. And that's what the president brought up tonight, and that's why he won. He has a great foreign policy experience. He has one of the best secretaries of state with Hillary Clinton. Mitt Romney couldn't even disagree with that. Whatever he was talking about, he was like, yeah, the president's done a great job with this, but I'll just do the same thing, but a little bit louder. And that's not how you're an effective leader. You're an effective leader by having a clear vision and by having a set goal list that you're going to achieve. And that is what the president does, and that is what he did tonight.
It's a tough call, right, if you're undecided, because your vote matters, right? So use these next 2 weeks to look at their websites, to talk to friends, talk to partisans, right? Talk to people. Why are you supporting Romney? Why are you supporting Obama? But don't let your indecision keep you from the poll, right? Ultimately, your vote's going to count, and I hope you just take a good hard look at both of the candidates that are vying, that are going to be the next president. There's other candidates out there, but ultimately, cast that vote.